Hey Pox community, what's up? Bombman007 sitting in with another episode of PoxNora Unwrapped. Today we head back to full faction. We're going into the lands of the Protectorate where the Iron Fist Stronghold rules, and it's ruled by a man that I'm sure you're all going to recognize. He's one of the top players in Iron Fist and one of the top players in Pox overall. This battle group is presented by our man Baskitkase. What's up, Basket?
Hey, what's going on, Bon?
Oh man, not much, brother. So, here we go. Baskitkase is from good old Texas. I'm from good old North Carolina. So PoxNora Unwrapped goes a little bit southern on us. So don't lose us here. We're gonna stay with us as we present this battle group, man. So, Basket, if you've been playing this battle group quite a bit, and since the new limited editions come out, you've kind of changed up just a tad. But and you don't really have him in this battle group because it's, you know, you had it melded before he was released. But if you were going to give this battle group a name, what would you call it?
I would definitely just call it AB Meta. You know, it's a battle group that I consider to be slightly less competitive than Constructs. So it gets in my B folder, but it's the one I have the most fun with. I try to just, you know, incorporate different things that people might not see normally. Yeah, along with some of the stuff that you see in pretty much every IS deck.
Yeah, no kidding. Especially once we get into some of this, a lot of the runes, a lot of Iron Fist players don't even really run anymore. I would definitely say that the Dwarf King is up there with his high price tag and with all the insta-kill stuff that's available in today's game. But anyway, you've run in this and you've been very successful with it. So I guess, you know, with your explanation and them seeing you play a game with it, maybe, you know, the players will understand a little bit better.
Yeah, I guess just overall, what I try to create is a situation where A, I can kill a shrine with a DMC. That should always be an option if you're running a DMC. Or B, my normal strategy until that other option presents itself is just going to try to create a lose-lose situation with my D-Kings and my DMCs. And then my ability to power turn, making them think, well, if I move forward and attack, I can kill something, but he's going to wipe me out. If I sit back, I'm going to lose the game because of Nora or DMCs dropping bombs on my head. So I'm trying to, you know, just kind of work a balance there and make something happen. Make a mistake.
Okay, man. Well, we can't wait to see this battle group, so I guess we'll jump right in here. Your first rune on the board, and we want to say thanks to PoxBase for coming up with a cool interactive database for you know, looking at the runes and stuff like that, and we can't wait to see what else more he does with it. But all right, so on the first rune up is Charger Knight. So you've got two of these guys, and you've gone with the Blitz and Loyalty upgrade. So coming out of the box, man, he's going to have a pile of damage and a pile of damage potential. Tell us about your Charger Knights, brother.
They're high hit point runes. They're not drownable, so that's important right now. FS is pretty prevalent, so I like my tanks to not be drownable. You also want your tanks to have, you know, some sort of reach, so they don't get kited, and charge helps with that. And then, you know, charge and blitz go great together. So he's just an all-around good tank. He's one of the ones I really like to use, and he, you know, fits in with the Paladin synergy module that I have running it too.
And I have seen games where this guy has hit for an absolute amazing amount of damage. So, you know, is it typical to get 30 plus damage hits out of this guy when he comes rumbling through?
Yeah, definitely, and that's what I'm trying to set up. Just an early power turn with like just him and the Minister or him and the Sergeant. I can get a pretty consistent 20 to 25 damage. If I want to put some Nora in there, you know, a Hammer Strike is going to do 10 damage minus 2 defense, or maybe, you know, a Maka, you know, can throw a little bit extra damage. If I want to put some Nora, I can easily get it up to 35 plus. So he's just a little bit of surprise damage. You know he's going to hurt, but, you know, the trick is to make him hurt a little bit worse than they thought he would.
All right. Fantastic. Alright, man, so your next rune up is a Deep Miner. You've gone with one of these guys. And I guess Deep Miner now with that 44 Nora, he's not just a dumb drop anymore and just reap the rewards. So tell us a little bit about the Deep Miner.
Well, the deep miner, I went with, of course, Nora Miner 3 and speed upgrades, but
Right.
that's auto, I guess. The thing about her is you got to know when to drop her now instead of just as soon as she's deployed. As soon as she's scried, because she's enough of a tempo hit that they can either get out and win a font, or push into your deep miner, something like that. There's enough of a tempo hit now that it's something you got to think about when to do. If you're getting rushed, it's not what you're going to want to do. If there's people walking around in your font, it's not what you're going to want to do. Always want to secure fonts, get a front started, and then kind of drop it on maybe a dead turn. A power turn is not coming or something like that.
I hear you. So just got to kind of know when to pace him and throw this thing out in order to get the best rewards for it.
Definitely, and you always want to make sure that you're not going to have corrupted Nora or whatever that one thing is that SP and IS can put out now that hurts your shrine. Backlash will kill your deep miner, but it'll cost you some Nora, but it won't hurt your shrine. So you just want to kind of take resonance as well. KF has resonance. You see a lot, so just want to survey, I guess, the battlefield before you just drop it. That's a great rune.
Yep, good stuff. All right, so 1 times miner speed and miner 3 upgrades. The Dwarven Excavator is your next rune, and this is one that I'm a little curious about as to why Iron Fist guys don't run much anymore. Or at least not that I've seen. For 47 aura, number one, you're getting 45 hit points, 50 with the banner out, but holy cow! His Tunnel Earth is amazing, and you've gone with the Tunnel Earth 3 and the Tunnel Vegetation, which vegetation is probably the second most dominant map feature on just about all the maps in the game right now. Why don't more guys run the Excavator? And tell us about him.
Well, I guess first off, I'll just address why I didn't take Tunnel Snow, which I see a lot, which is fine. Of course, people who don't use Tunnel that often might not know, but you got to be on the terrain that you're tunneling from, and that has to be your destination as well. So if you're using Earth, you have to go Earth to Earth. If you're using veggies, you have to go veggie to veggie. And snow is snow to snow, and I don't ever find myself both on snow and wanting to go to snow very often. So it's a couple of maps that might be useful, but like you said, there's a lot of veggie maps, and then getting a double tunnel can extend his range at maximum AP with no AP gen to 13 spaces. So with 9 AP, he can go 7, and then 5, and then 1 more.
Wow. Yeah, now that's incredible.
Yeah, as far as why I don't see people running him, I don't know. He's one of our best harassers. He's our best harasser, one of the best harassers. I've seen, I've been in games and I've seen people dump a lot of Nora into him, and even because they know he's going to be hurting them Nora-wise. But even if he doesn't pay for himself, he's what I use. He's one of the runes that I use to help create that lose-lose situation. Like maybe right before I'm setting up for a power turn, I'll go ahead and stick him in a font and he'll be killable. And the guy has to think, well, do I back up and kill him, or do I go and maybe get a kill in the front? Just different things like that. And of course, side font, if you send a melee at my excavator and he doesn't have assault or leap or something, it's just over. So, he's just a good rune. He's probably caused me more wins that I can definitely attribute to one single rune than any other thing I've won that I've played.
Wow, nice. So now what happens if you don't really draw him, till maybe mid or late game? Is he still useful then, or is he only an early game rune?
That's one of the reasons I run him 1x. He's only useful mid game if you have it like, think of Snaring Tangle, the one that has the 4 fonts in the corners and the one in the middle on the raised plateau. That's all veggie. Now, mid game, you can put him out on one of your side fonts, go and harass in 2 turns the other opponent's side font. But likely he's not going to have as large of an impact mid game. So I run him 1x and try to get him out early to mid game. I'll still play him mid game. He becomes more of a tempo hit that you have to be careful for, kind of like the miner. If you're front to front in 7 spaces in between you and the bad guys, and you use 44 and 47 Nora on something that's not going to help you out for 4 or 5 turns, and it might not be that good of a play. So definitely more of an early game rune.
Okay. All right. So 1 times excavator, tunneler 3, and tunnel vegetation are your upgrades. 2 times dwarven king. So you've got a big potential to pull a very expensive unit, especially early game and stuff. You've gone with the divine favor 3 and the speed upgrades on this guy. So he's out of the box. He's going to have let's see here, 7 speed. He's going to have Warcry, Divine Favor 3, all kinds of nifty abilities. Plus, if there's multiple enemies around, the melee specialist, he's really going to amp up in damage. So why 2 times Dwarven Kings? Most guys, if they do run him, it's 1 time at max. But you've gone with 2. So tell us about the way you use the Dwarven Kings, Basket.
Well, I don't really like to use him early game. There's some maps where 7 speed on an IS font bonus will get the font in 1 turn instead of 2. I might use him then because he's basically 12 Nora cheaper. If I was gonna otherwise deploy something that can't get there for 2 turns, because I'll get that 12 Nora 1 turn quicker. Otherwise, I really don't like to have him first out because that gives you lots of time to plan on what you're going to do to him. Scry for your spells or equipment or whatever you're going to use against him. I like to get something out, in front, like a Charger Knight, and then, make people think, well, I'm going up to kill that Charger Knight, but if I don't get it, the King's going to come in there and ramp up damage, and that Charger Knight's going to get a kill and refill 25 hit points. So, just things like that. Melee Specialist, people always forget that about him. It's pretty funny. It gives him 1 defense. So I'll see someone calculate a long play out, run a champ up, do some damage, run another champ up, and then be 1 hit point short because he gained the defense. Yeah. So I kind of like that. It doesn't help him a lot, but sometimes it's kind of neat. And then he's a high risk, high reward rune. I'm running 2 of them right now just because I want to, and no one else is even running 1. The Divine Favor used at the right time is game winning, plus a king drop can really turn the tide. So, and there's different things I can do with him. I'll have people approach my shrine, and I have a Leos monk sitting by my shrine looking all innocent, and I'll walk up and start hitting on him, and drop a king and invigorate him or something like that, and then go to town.
Nice.
So it's just all kinds of stuff we can do.
Sweetness. All right, so 2 times Dwarven King. We'll look and see if they make a difference in the game you play today. So, all right, 2 times Dwarven Magisters. This was a shoebox rune that was buffed by Corpse while he was still in town, and the Magister really went from an unused rune to a a medium used rune. I mean, I think when he first caught his buff, he was used quite a bit, but now he's kind of right back into that stage of mediocrity. I don't really see a lot of Iron Fist guys run this guy anymore. But I think still for his Nora cost, the Magister is a fairly amazing rune. So you've gone with the adaptive Iron Fist and the blast upgrades. So it's really going to make him produce potentially he could produce quite a bit of damage from this guy. So tell us about the Dwarven Magister that you got 2 of. You do run 2 of these guys.
Yeah, I mean he's they're a sleeper rune. People put them out on the battlefield and they don't look that menacing. They have not very many hit points, 11 damage. They're kind of slow. So he's not something you're going to put out early and then go to town on something with. But he is a great source of cheap magic damage. He's only 75 Nora, which I consider that to be fairly cheap. Fits into early deploys, when you're trying to deploy 75 or less early on to get 3 champs out in 3 turns. So there's different things like that for the reasons I chose him over the Angel of Protection. Angel of Protection is just a more superior rune. But I just, like I said, I like to do some things a little different. And he gets tanky late game. When there's 2 of them out, they get to where they can pretty much tank stuff, very well, unless it's a power turn, because they can blast and they have magic acolyte and go crazy with their heals. And then of course, the blast is going to work good with a Dwarven King. So once you get him, increase 10 hit points and damage from your spell usage throughout the game. He gets up there, and a Dwarven King, gives him a little bit more damage, and so you start throwing some pretty heavy blast damage out.
Oh, absolutely. And he also gives you several different forms of alternate damage. The Radiant Blow even is fire damage, if I'm not mistaken.
It is. It's fire damage, and it's punishes people for leaving things side by side or sitting next to a relic, because it blinds anything next to the target that you hit with it.
Nice. So there you go. 2 times Dwarven Magisters. Alright, the next piece up is the Dwarven Mortar Crew. Now these guys were absolutely off the hook when they were released. They had Ground Striker, which caused them to do just a ridiculous amount of damage. But even with the Declare Hunted, they're still a force to be reckoned with, and still a fairly scary piece. And you've gone with 2 of these guys, and you've gone with Burn 2, Knockback 3 upgrades. Alright, so what about the Dwarven Mortar Crew? Are they still worth the Nora in today's game?
Absolutely. I mean, the best range champ that IS has. They're a little bit less hurt dirt than some of the other things out there, because they're not going to be double tacking a lot unless you're going to be making them accessible to your enemy's front line or some type of power turn. So you really got to kind of hang back, and that's kind of what they do. They just sit back there, and they're really threatening. They cause people to waste AP trying to position around a impending bomb. They're kind of reminiscent of if you look at their art, that's kind of what I picture them acting like, and just laughing at people for running around and getting hit by bombs and stuff. And they're kind of like my Trollolo rune. I love like to troll with them, and one thing I do, a few different things I do with them, of course, is use them like everyone uses them. But I'll put one out when I think a strong unit's about to surge forward, and if he does, then I'll put the other one out and hunt that unit and maybe power play and kill it. Different things like that. I went with the KB3 upgrade. If I didn't choose that one, I would probably choose the Health 2 upgrade. Grant Fire Trap is nice. It's 3 cooldowns though, and I usually don't have anything extra. I'm not trying to set up like a KB into a trap or anything like that.
Right. Because
you're looking at half damage, and then you lose your burn and stuff like that. So I just put the KB in there just because sometimes people sit next to chasms when they're not supposed to, or something like that. So different things like that. But no, it's a really good rune. It's kind of the anchor to my strategy of lose-lose situation. Either you think I can't sit back and I can't move forward, so they're the catalyst to the back end of that.
Nice. Very good. So we'll see if you can kind of get some people in some pickles like that with the DMC. Not to mention that they're a great shrine attacker. I mean, really, you'd be able to use like artillery strike and attack together, and then that works in with siege, so they can mow down a shrine pretty rapidly, I guess.
They can, and once they're on a shrine, they are it's required that you respond to them. You can't forget about them. You can forget about champs that are diving in your back fawns, let them have them or something like that, and thinking you can win, or you can, there's certain runes that are strong. I've had people dance around my RR all day long and kill everything else. There's things you can figure out. Once a DMC is on your shrine, it becomes a game of who can either kill the DMC or the shrine first. And that's what I like, because it gives me control of the game. I did this, and now I'm making you do something.
Nice. 2 DMCs, Burn and Knockback 3. You have 1 Dwarven Sarge, and again, this was a shoebox rune at one point in time, not really used all as much, but now the Dwarven Sergeant, he caught some buffs, and he's a fairly amazing rune. You've decided to go with the Scramble Surge Enemy upgrades, and I think at one point in time you had told me that if you play this guy right, you'll never attack with him. So,
yeah, I mean,
what about the Dwarven Sergeant?
Go ahead. I was just going to say, if you're playing with him and the other guy is playing right, then you most likely will never attack with him. He's going to be sitting in between your melee and your range, just pumping out AP like crazy. He puts out more AP than Moby any day. He puts out way more AP than Point of Order. He's the AP in this rune there is in the game. He's a mobile IS font. And on power turns he can reach and then do global AP with a scramble or something like that. So he kind of helps negate the ponderous on my DMC. So that's where I look to have him. Protecting a DMC with block. And then, of course, anyone approaching is going to get hit by a surge enemy unit that has 10 base damage. So he's always going to be 15 to 16 damage mid game anyway. So he helps negate the ponderous. With the rallying cries, which is like the mobilize font, and then a drive. I can basically make sure that they have 10 AP around. And 8 AP around, and you just train strike. I think is necessary. You have crazy. When I go up against the RR or something, I love to hunt it. Train strike, find a turn that it doesn't have RD on him, and then just own its face. So it's just all around good unit. I only have one of them. I usually have two, but I'm playing with the Leos Monk right now, so just one.
All right, Dwarven Sarge, the AP man. And let's see, your next rune up is Ewan Iron Fist. And Ewan is he is one of the heroes, and I believe it's the only hero that you're actually going with in this battle group. But man, he brings a ton of stuff to the table. We're talking Battlemaster block, Consecration, Ether Hammer, Mountaineer, which is a pseudo flyer really. Prestige. I mean, well, wow, man, this guy is absolutely incredible. You've decided to go with the Surge Enemy and the Impenetrable upgrades. So tell us about the man, the myth, and legend, Mr. Ewan Iron Fist.
Well, he's definitely our best hero, hands down, and he's probably one of the top 5 at least. I think probably number 3 in the game. So, he's a really, really good rune. He boosts damage. He supports well, especially if you have paladins, which you notice to have the Charger Knights. So this consecrates there to keep the Chargers, cleansed and healed. And then, he's adding damage to everyone with Battle Master. And then Prestige is nice when, you know the feeling you get when you're facing Forsaken Wastes on a Chasm map. You're just like, this sucks. The whole I'm going to be, putting all my runes one by one next to each other, out of position. Well, you just drop a Ewan and that goes away. So, he's just got all kinds of good things he can do. I never really regret deploying him. The only time you would not want to deploy him for early game is a lot of Nora. So to use him, you're going to...
Okay. You kind of cut out on there, sir, a little bit, Basket. But he was definitely saying that you don't want to use this guy early game because you've got to come back and make up for him, his Nora cost. So, all right, Ewan Iron Fist. All right, so the next piece up in the battle group is Inquisitor Magnus. He's the 150,000 gold piece rune that was the first one launched, actually, when Pox changed over to Pox 2.0. And you've decided to go with ignorance upgrades on this guy. Now, Punish, he's going to strip all the AP away from anything that he hits. So if they've got 2 or 3 AP stuck on them, Magnus hits them, they lose that, and they lose hit points equal to that. And ignorance is enemy wizards and priests within 6 spaces may not use activate ability. So, all right. So tell us here. Inquisition is an actual. It's a fairly unique spell. Only 2 IS runes that I know even has that ability. And Distract is very powerful. Why did you go with Punish and Ignorance over Distract and Inquisition? So, in your Inquisitor Magnus basket.
Well, the reason I go Punish is because I usually don't like to, have Magnus where he's double hittable after I activate his Bounty Hunter. So I usually try to, activate Bounty Hunter on the flank or maybe a summons that they're putting out front or something like that. And I never want whatever unit that is that I just approached to then be able to double hit. And he just, Punish is a really good ability. You have people storing AP and, punish them for it. And I like it better than Distract just because he's a 1x rune, so anytime he gets in a one-on-one side font battle, which I'll do all the time, he's never going to be killable by one other rune unless you are counter deployed and it's a physical resistance rune or something like that. And the reason I went with Ignorance is a lot of UD right now, but I really, really like Ignorance. It's got a good range on it. It shuts down things like the Magus from UD, and of course, all the other wizards. You can't morph. You can't morph Magnus. A lot of people like to morph him, but morph is on wizards, so you can't morph him. Different things like that, and it's one of those things that tends to surprise people, so I kind of like it.
Sweetness. Now, he is a paladin, so he's going to kind of fall into that little area with you with consecration. He does have bounty hunter and adaptive iron fist, and the resist magic. So he's a good early mid game piece maybe, and then can build up stronger for a nice late game surge.
Yeah, I definitely like him early. I mean, it's going to be hard to kill him early because you're not going to have enough runes to get through hunter damage. Hunter defense, and then his hunter damage is going to be fairly impactful. And then early is getting him in, where he's up and getting his adaptive off more often, because as the game goes on, you're using your spells more. So late game less so, early game, mid game absolutely.
Nice. Inquisitor Magnus in the house. Your next piece is the Iron Fist Minister. And I think you told me at one point in time that the Iron Fist Minister is probably one of your favorite runes in the entire game of Pox. You've gone with Resist Magic 3 and then Vig upgrades. So in comes a ton of AP generation from this guy as well. I know you said the Dwarven Sergeant had a lot, but man, the Minister can really dish out some AP too from the looks of it.
He certainly can. I like one thing I really like about him is back in when you used to have the player rewards, he was something that you made out of a Dwarven King. So I just kind of liked that. It seemed like maybe maybe he wasn't a king, but he seems. You look at his picture, he's kind of stoic and kind of expressionless. I kind of see myself as that way. So pretty cool little rune. He's extremely efficient. He's a good counter to magic damage. He's a paladin, so he fits into my little paladin module. Battle Drum being the best ability in the game, in my opinion. I don't know, it's pretty close. So Battle Drum gives you, +3 damage, 2 speed, and then 1 defense. And gives you an AP. He's, one thing I like to do with him is I might have a miner out somewhere, and then I'll drop him, hit something with Sarge, carouse him with my miner, and Battle Drum, and then continue my power play, whereas people were not counting on that. So there's a couple little plays I like doing with him. Of course, the Invigorate is nice. That always, when you have D-Kings and DMCs, AP Gen is going to be what wins you the game. So just all-around great support unit. If you're doing a execute attack on a power play, he can get up to 18 to 22 or so damage, depending on what's going on. So he's a good little rune.
Wow. Plus magic damage, which Iron Fist, I guess a little lacking at sometimes, maybe.
Yeah, he was at a time. There was a time when we were very, very lacking in that, and so it was really nice. Now we're not so much lacking, of course, with the Protector and the Angel of Almara, Archangel of Almara. Mm-hmm. Different runes like that, and of course the Angels of Protection are a lot more obtainable now. So we definitely have magic now, but he is a rune that you can pretty much put in any deck, and he helps fill that magic slot, along with the Battle Drum being completely awesome.
All right, 1x Iron Fist Minister, Resist Magic 3, and Invigorate upgrades. You've gone with the Kitty Cat, the Laos Monk, and let's see here now. This guy, he's, again, more of a support rune, if I'm looking at him right. You've decided to go with the Divert and then Vig 2 upgrades. And so he's going to deflect a little bit of damage. He's going to get your guys moving around. But he's got Merciful. So he himself is not going to end up with any type of kills. So why the Laos Monk instead of maybe like another Minister or... heck, even another Civil Plant Engineer. Why would you go with this guy over, some of the other runes that you could pick from?
He's I think he's our best access to Invigorate 2. The other one being the Attendant Squire, which I don't like at all. He has 12 damage, which is very respectable. I have people underestimate the Leos Monk all the time, and they're like, well, I can hang out over here because the only thing he has is a DMC or a Sergeant or something like that. And then Leos Monk gets a Might of Iron Fist or participates in a power turn or something, and he lays down some very respectable damage, even though he can't kill something. In the presence of a Sarge, I have drive, I have spells. There's all different ways of getting things dead. So he's not a rune to be underestimated. He's just a really good support rune. I love Righteous Shield. It helps me get Magnus safely activated. It keeps things off my DMC. All kinds of stuff like that.
Excellent stuff, man. One Leos Monk, and then let's see. Only 2 champs to go. Your next one is Priest of Valdak. So you're going to have about 3 forms of Divine Favor 3, and that's your upgrade. You've gone with Divine Favor 3 and the Health 2 upgrade on the Priest of Valdak. Now, I mean, healer, is that pretty much what this guy stands for?
Yeah, healer. So I like to use him when I can get the most out of DF. And of course, he's that rune that I use to eat up Oblivion Shield and dodge and stuff like that. Once he's out, he's another source of corrals for my DMCs or something like that. If I'm backing a unit out and I drop him, I can add 24 hit points to that unit in 2 rounds. So I can, Divine Favor and then heal him.
Nice.
That's pretty much what he's useful for. I'm not going to rely on him to do anything except tank melee, get in the way and block on melee stuff. He does have 3 defense. But of course he goes down quick to range with easy target.
Yeah, easy target really makes him quite vulnerable. And with him being a dwarf, you do have the Kraus ability on him as well. So I guess he can hand out a Black Label Brew and give some extra AP to some guys around, huh? Yeah,
definitely. He's just a good rune, cheat. You can pretty much think of him as just a global heal that ends up helping you out more later too.
All right, sweetness. All right, so Priest of Valdak, and then your last champion, Silver Clan Engineer, and you've gone with the Nora Miner and the Motivate upgrades on this guy. Now here's a guy that just you typically think of him being in construct decks, but good gracious, brother, with all the stuff that he brings, a ton of utility. I mean, I can see why you're running one. 55 Nora for 42 hit point support champ. I think he's a steal too. So tell us about the engineer.
Well, he's awesome. You've seen people deploy a banner to get a kill forward in the battle, and you can deploy a motivate champ to do the same thing, or both. So motivate's awesome. It's a global support. So I really can't see going wrong with that. Nora Miner 2 is my other upgrade on him. That pretty much basically can pay for himself depending on how long the game goes by. Just like the Miner and the Excavator, he's going to be a tempo hit. Pretty much every support is. You're not going to be able to lay down huge damage with him. He's got the Electricity Aura and Recycle, so that gives me both a Perseverance and an equipment counter, which I'm always, kind of more diligent on making sure I have my counters in place. So, just a really good all-around utility rune, even when I'm not making use of superior engineering. A really good rune.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, the longer he stays out, the cheaper he gets because of the Nora Miner. So, I mean, heck, a support rune with benefits, that's fantastic. So, all right, so 17 champions in this battle group, and I guess maybe the Silver Clan Engineer and the Deep Miner. Is it hard to consider them champs? Because you said that you've run into folks that's had 15 or 16 champs, and they've had like 2 Deep Miners in there, and you kind of go, well, not really an actual champ. So is that why you've gone with so many champions on this one?
Before the Silver Clan Engineer came out, I had 2 miners in this BG, and it's like I was telling you earlier, when people send me BGs like, hey, what do you think about this BG? And I'll notice it has 15 champs, 2 of which are Deep Miners. Deep Miners absolutely cannot be considered as a champ. I mean, you can Of course, they are a champ. They can walk. They can go get fonts and stuff, but you really can't rely on them. A lot of times, you know, if you're sending a deep miner off to a far side font, you're going to cost yourself more Nora than you're going to gain, and give your opponent a long amount of time to send something out there to make your deep miner at that font. So you just I don't know. It's just one of those things. If the Silver Clan Engineer is much more of a champ, you know, he's not a deep miner. And so he can participate in battle. He's going to be doing things and moving around. And so he's a lot more of a champ than a deep miner. So basically, I'm looking at like a 16 champ BG, which is kind of normal for me. The deep miner is just going to be there to use. It's going to participate a little bit, but it's not really going to be a game champ for me.
All right. So, you know, thanks for that clarification. All right. So, on to your spells. You've got Bane Blast. I mean, it does not have but an area of effect too, but good gracious, man. I have seen this thing absolutely lay down some smack of some damage. So, anything special about Bane Blast?
I love the spell. It's our best AOE. You know, you can drop it on one of your own guys if you have to make sure you catch the correct two. And of course, that unlike the Earthquake, which will steal your own AP, it won't. I mean, it'll just do 6 instead of 12 damage. But it does, you know, it does do the 12 damage. It has the synergy with stun. Most of my battle groups have a lot more stun in them than this one. But I like him for example, things like the what's it called, the little goblin that UD puts out.
Oh yeah.
The Spellkaiser.
Yeah.
Yeah. Spellkaiser, a hammer, one hit from something, and this can end a Spellkaiser, which is a lot of Nora, but sometimes it's something that you would want to do. Just a lot of surprise damage in its connection with stun.
Sure. I mean, we're talking with a hammer combined, if they're stunned, you're talking 34 damage to a unit. That's a lot to take, man. I mean, it's going to pretty much take care of anything you combo that with, really, I'd imagine.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it's there for. I mean, there's not a lot of champs that I would consider spending 80 Nora on to kill it. But there's some where you can think, I can spend 80 Nora on it right now. I can maybe spend 40 and get it killed in 3 turns, but it's going to punish me big time till I do. So it's just worth it. You know, like I've had people spend, you know, 125 Nora on a drown on one of my units, and it goes to win a game. So it's just one of those options that are there.
Sure. All right. 1 times blink. Is blink still a runnable spell? I mean, it pulls the unit out of play. So if it can be used in 2 ways, I guess, either on your own guys, it's going to pull them out of play, put them back into play 2 turns later, and if there's nothing blocking the space that they were blinked out of, they're going to return right back to that space. So a common combo with this spell is to target an enemy champ, throw down, you know, a relic, or have a champion walk into that space, and you know, they block that creature from returning. Or you can cast on your own guy. I mean, it removes him from play, puts him back into play, and he's full health, I mean, like if he's Elfard or something, he comes back fully rejuvenated. So how do you use blink, and, you know, is it still a viable spell in IS?
Absolutely, very viable spell. Knowing when to use it, I think, is good. If it gets spell countered, you know, you're kind of at a loss because it's an expensive spell. Most spell counters are 40 or less Nora. So you gotta know when to use it. You don't want to, you know, something runs up and, you know, gets in your shrine and you have a miner there and you blink it and sit on it. That's great, but what if they have another unit right there? Then you're done. You know, game's over.
Sure.
I use it a lot to reset my kings. If you don't kill my king all the way, and he's got like, you know, 4 hit points and he's about to die or something, you know, I might go ahead and blink him and let him sit there, and that's kind of what I have the DMC for. If the enemy goes and sits on that spot, I'll knock them back. They put a relic on that spot. DMC has siege, so I'll end it that way. You know, different things like that. But it's a really good spell. I mean, it gets things out of the way. It resets your own champs. You can't go wrong, I don't think.
All right. So 1 times blink, 2 times hammer strike, and you'd told me, I think, many times before that, and I think even Markov kind of reflected the same mentality. You don't use hammer strike for the stun. All right. So what exactly do you mean by that?
Well, you don't use it as a disable. I mean, I use it for the stun all the time, but
But in a different fashion than what we're talking about, right?
Yeah, I mean, you think about it, it does, it gives them stun, so it does -2 defense and 10 damage. So if you can't just think about the 10 damage, because if you have 3 attacks going onto that hammer-stricken unit, they're going to take an additional 2 damage per attack, so that's an extra 6. So the spell actually contributed 16 damage to that play. It gets you out of dodge, block situations when you're being countered by those. If you're doing a knockback, someone's against a cliff, it's a really powerful unit. You can hammer strike from the 0 AP and KB them with the DMC. Combo it, like we said, with Bane Blast. I mean, it's a really good utility spell. I don't like Beam, because Beam doesn't help me kill something right now. And I'm either going to want to spin Nora, kill something right now, or figure out some way to delay until next turn.
Right. Okay. So 2 times hammer strikes. We'll see if those come into play in your game, and I'm sure that they will. All right. So here's Macadamize, and so how do you rate Macadamize? How strong exactly is this spell, and is it a tad underrated?
Oh, it's extremely underrated. I mean, I don't know if it's underrated, but I see pretty much every IS player run it. They should. I run it one time, unless you're really, working it in some type of stone synergy or looking to counter some type of terrain, or I don't know. You really only need it one time because it persists for 6 turns. So it gives you both offensive and defensive benefit for 6 turns, and you keep the domain rock. So on rock maps, you keep that even if you move away from it. It's IS's best spell, in my opinion. We have a lot of things. Our power turns end up being global. We can do things, and we can help champs out a lot with our Iron Fist Minister and global AP from the Sarge, different things like that. So, I mean, Macadamize is just really great, and it gets you around positioning. You need to get around a unit to adjust a font to win a game, etc. Macadamize is just an all-around good spell.
Fantastic, yeah, and the Domain Rock, guys, as soon as you cast it, your guys are no longer engaged to other units. They can just move right around because it gives them mobility while they're on rock. All right, so this next one, I think you're probably one of the few people that I've even seen run this. When they were first launched, it was launched right beside of Havoc's Touch, and obviously the SP version is a little bit more superior to this one, but still, here you are running it. So Might of Iron Fist, is this spell? Tell us about Might of Iron Fist. I'm not gonna make any conclusions because I've heard a lot of IS players really gripe about it, that they didn't think it was any good, but here you are running it, so it must be worth something, I would imagine.
I usually run it 2x. I'm running it 1x because I put strip armor in this battle group just because. But Might of Iron Fist is an awesome spell. It's targeted loss of life damage. So my most probably favorite application of this spell is you get something from FS that bubbles with like 6 hit points and walks away a couple spaces, and they're like, you can't kill it, and then you Might of Iron Fist it. I mean, that's like the best thing ever. It gives you +5 damage and pummel if you use it on, or whoever you use it on. So if you're using that on a good guy, one thing I really like to do with is combo it with the Charger Knight. God forbid someone stays within 3 spaces of a full AP Charger Knight, but if they are, and I can get there in 9, or if I can get there with 9 AP, or get to my charge position with 9 AP, I can Might of Iron Fist and put him up to around 20 or 25 damage on a non-power turn. On a power turn, he's already at 30.
Wow.
Get in position, charge, and then with the 6 AP left, I can go ahead and do a pummel. And you're looking at, best case scenario, 80 to 90 damage.
Wow.
But it's a lot of damage.
Holy smokes. That's absolutely incredible. To kind of correct your formal statement there, you're actually not running a strip armor in this battle group.
Yeah, I'm looking at the wrong battle group.
Yeah, I think we got that mixed up. But I mean, that comboed with strip armor especially could just be absolutely devastating across the board. That is ridiculous, really.
Yeah, and they're a lot similar in what they bring, strip armor and Might of Iron Fist. One is global and does a little bit less, but is going to, you can use it to benefit a few champs, whereas Might of Iron Fist is going to be one champ. does really well with the Charger Knight, because after you do that and then complete a kill, he then heals 25 points, so he can fully negate that 10 HP loss.
All right, so there you got it, guys. Might of Iron Fist, powerful spell. You want to check it out. All right, Refute. Now this is one that it's pretty much a rune killer. That when you cast this spell, the next opposing rune that is played is failed. It's set to a cooldown of 10, and the other copy of that rune is going to in your opponent's rune dock is also set down to a cooldown of 10, and you're refunded 50% of the failed Nora's cost. So, or your opponent is. So, wow, man, if the guy goes to throw down a fire blast, for instance, I mean, both that one is countered. The other one, if he hadn't cast it yet, is both of them are put under the cooldown for 10 rounds. Pretty much removes that spell from that game. I mean, really. So Refute, is Refute being ran in today's game, or are you one of the few that's running it?
I think all the top IS players run it, and when I see Rivy or Tiny playing IS, I definitely see them run it too. It's one of the best spells to use, or one of the best runes to play pre or post your own counter turn, or pre your own counter turn to keep a pre or post your own power turn, keep a power turn from coming at you. So you can feel those games where everyone is stripped for Nora, one guy's not saving. It's most likely, it's going to keep him from moving forward or being able to correctly, complete his power turn. Most top end players don't allow good power turns to happen with what's on the board. It requires extra things, order being dropped, or maybe a thunder totem, different things like that to pull off that kill. So it keeps that from happening. I've had it win me games plenty of times, or at least have people give up after their plan that they've just spent 40 seconds on gets refuted.
Wow.
So it's just a really, really good all-around spell. And unlike some of the other ones where the spell just goes on cooldown, and then you see them cast the other version of that, that plan is ruined once the spell goes off, because, like you said, both copies go on cooldown.
Yeah, man. So there you go. One times Refute. One times Righteous Deflection is pretty much a staple rune in the, Iron Fist. He basically becomes immune to ranged attacks. It's going to reflect the damage to the attacker. So hard to knock Righteous Deflection. So why only one copy of Righteous Deflection? I mean, do you think your younger IS players, maybe less mature, do they try to run two of these thinking that it's that good, or what? Why only one?
Well, for one, Righteous Deflection is a spell for sitting around and not, advancing in the battle. Because if I'm advancing and killing stuff, or if I'm not doing that, if I'm just holding a font, what do you really gain by spending 35 Nora? Just back out of the font, just drop a relic, just something like that. So when I use it is when, something is either going to die and they can only kill it with range. Sometimes I will use it in the font, but usually I'm not just going to chain RDs. I'm just going to RD, herb derp everyone. It doesn't really fit to my play style, but it is a spell that's really awesome and has a really great effect. So I keep one in there just for, times when, it does save games and save runes. So that's what I use it for. When I'm using the two, when I have adaptives out, you can see my hidden spells. So I kind of like to make things vulnerable to ranged attacks and use Righteous Deflection, or not use Righteous Deflection and use Refute, and maybe hope that they think it's Righteous Deflection, different things like that. It's one of my two hidden spells. I like it, I use it, but I go games where I don't use it at all. If everything goes the way I plan, I won't need it. So that's why.
Okay, fantastic. Next one up is Unobstructed View. Kind of took a little bit of a nerf a while back. Cost increased to 35. The cooldown especially is what the major gripe is, I think, from the Iron Fist players. But it looks like this spell is still around and used quite often, even despite those facts. So tell us about Unobstructed View.
Well, for Iron Fist Stronghold, we got two constructs that have Detection on upgrade, which I'm not a fan of putting detection on upgrade. I think it should either be on the champ or not, simply because if you don't need it, you're playing with a one upgraded champ, and you often don't need it. So that being said, we're looking at the Mountain Sentry, which I would love to get a little bit of a buff, and I'd probably use him. But he's pretty weak right now. And the Sharpshooter, which is a good rune, but he's outclassed in every way by the other runes that I run. So that leaves me with UV. You just got to know when to use it. You can't just, if you're trying to find a sand snipe and he does all his sand is way back yonder and you can't reach it anyways, don't throw out UV and oh look, there it is, I can't reach it, great, and they wait till it's off cooldown and then they come get you. So it's just, if you're going to use UV instead of a detection champ, then you got to know when to use it, and then you got to be prepared to get whatever done you need getting done within those 4 turns. And you also you gotta watch the meta. If the meta is putting out stealth decks, UV is not going to get it done. So go ahead and throw another detection champ in there with UV, and then you will have no problem with stealth decks.
Good stuff. All right, man. One of your 2 relics in the deck is the Iron Fist Standard. Pretty much auto include. We've talked this in just about every episode of Unwrapped that we've done. +1 damage, +5 hit points to all friendly champions of that faction. It's unique. You can only have 1, but 20 Nora for a 21 hit point relic that comes back every 4 rounds. I mean, it's pretty much enough said, I guess.
Yeah, and you'll notice my next relic is the Nora Mine. So those are both 20 20 Nora relics. And that means that they have a cooldown of 4 when they're killed. And if you'll take a look at the Dwarven Excavator, you'll notice that his little mine is on 2 cooldown. So if you're thinking about those 2 runes plus my mines, I can put a relic in a font every single turn, and that's if it's kill every single turn. Keep in mind, a 21 and 25 hit point relics are not easy to kill. So it works really good for me in how I use my excavator. And of course, it's just an awesome rune. Who wouldn't include the banner?
Yeah, exactly. And then that's the one I was going to ask you about. Wow, man. Nora Mine, 20 Nora for a 25 hit point relic. Plus, it's going to refund you 5 Nora and even 1 additional Nora if your Nora Miner is in play. And I would assume that also includes the Silver Clan Engineer. So that's 7 Nora a turn if both of those guys are in play for 20 Nora, brother. I mean, man, this thing, if it does stay out just a few turns, it's completely paid for itself. Even if it's killed, like you said, 4 turns later, bam, it's right back in your font zone again.
Yeah, I mean, average damage used to be 10. Now average damage is going to be 12. That's not going to get it done. So I do watch damage when I deploy it, and really like to get it deployed as a contester when I know it will last 1 round. Deploying, just contesting 1 round for costing him 15 costing him 12, cost me 15 then. If I don't do anything else, if I just run away, I still win, because not only did I only lose that 3 Nora difference, but I was able to mess up deploys, possibly, keep champs, occupied, different things like that. But yeah, it goes into my strategy of contesting with my excavator, and then there's sometimes I just put it out. If it's a big map and we're not going to be to the game to the front for a while, I'll put it out with a miner or a Silver Clan, and just start ginning that Nora.
There we go, Nora Mine. And then you've got 2 equipments that round out your battle group. The first one is Earth God Sigil. The target champion games Earthbound, Lava Walker, Lumbering, and when he moves, it's going to have lava come out behind him for 6 turns. Is this just a LOL spell or what?
Yeah,
equipment.
It's a troll rune. I mean, I'm going to use it as an anti-equip. I like putting it on 2x2s that are coming into battle, so that all of their guys have to drag themselves through lava. It's only 25 Nora. Pretty much every equipment removal spell is going to be more than that, so you automatically win if all they do is remove it. And of course, causing a deploy is another thing that gives me control. I used EGS, you deployed Shatterjam. You know, I controlled that deploy, so that's a good thing. You know, putting on stuff like Julia, who knows, getting in position for a 7 range double attack, different things like that. Punishing people over chasms, of course, that's a no-no. And then punishing flyers over impassable. I'll catch Vinny out over the mountains or something, and you know, all I got to do is avoid his little acid bomb every now and then.
Nice. There you go, Earth God Sigil, and I think you claim that you pretty much laugh every time you put this equipment on something.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it does. It makes me giggle. You know, people throw a melee champion at my excavator in their font, and I put that on it, and I'm hopping around that font, and they're just like, ugh, you know, just, no, it's fine.
Oh man, and the last rune in the battle group is Soul Reaver. Why would you go with a Soul Reaver instead of a Vial of Holy Water? Vial is going to give you the same effect as far as the cleansing goes, but it also adds that purified, so it's going to actually heal your guy 5 hit points if you took damage last time. It's 5 Nora cheaper, so why would you run Soul Reaver over Vial of Holy Water?
Holy Water is nice. It brings you some sustain. I have a lot of sustain built in my battle group already with my heals, my Paladin modules. So the reason I did that is the file gives me another trick to use. I can keep something in a stun. I can, you know, if maybe I'm stuck out somewhere away from my Silver Clan and I can't get a Perseverance counter, I can attack it with a DMC, move into range with a champ that has Soul Reaver, and then go ahead and activate that Perseverance, and that dot will stay on them because they're not cleansable, and then go ahead for the kill. So I don't have any champs that can really just tank forever. I don't have like an RR or a Swamp Guard Crusher, you know, that are just going to be tanking forever, and they're going to be getting that 5 hit point like 8 times before they die from the Blessed. So I just go with Soul Reaver. I don't know, I just like it.
Well, I think you hit a big key there with the non-cleansable. I mean, if you hit them with Hammer Strike, not getting cleansed, not freeing them out of that stun, and that sets you up to just power turn them, you know, the next turn, I guess, too.
Yeah, and you could see how that would go well with a DMC as well.
Oh, absolutely. Well, Basket, that's the battle group, man. It looks real good, and I can't wait to see you play a game with it, brother. Thanks for sharing it with us.
All right, man. Let's get the sticks in the wheel and see what we can do.
All right, guys. Let's go join Baskitkase now in his game. All right, Pox community, what's up? We just saw Baskitkase's AB meta battle group, and now here he is in an actual match with it, ranked Q. Basket, you're currently ranked 18 limited solo. You're going up against Junithorn, 20 limited player. He's full faction under depth, which is typically par for him. And again, we've got your full faction Iron Fist stronghold. So, what do you think about this map? You do get to go first on it. We hear a lot of complaints about players going second. And how's your draw?
My draw is okay. I would have rather a melee champion or maybe a Sarge or you know, different things like that. But he didn't deploy very good against that draw, so I'm happy.
Looks like you might be. I'm sorry. Looks like you might be running possibly an arthropod battle group here on.
Maybe so. I know he loves to. I know he loves to put the Arachnoblade on me, so I'm probably going to get hit with that. I'm not too worried about that champion rushing me, so I'm going to go ahead and do one miner. This is a very, very good miner map because there's only a fixed amount of fonts. DMC is not going to be as important on this map. So right away, I mean, versus this guy, but very important on the map, obviously. Right away, I'm thinking, can I get this battle onto that bridge that's on the top, the big bridge? I want to get everyone deployed up there, and get the fight up there, and then get some DMCs down low. Employ a DMC and just start popping that shrine. But I'll let him scry a little bit, because if I do a DMC right now, he'll stop scrying.
Ah, got you. Okay.
And I'm not too terribly worried. He doesn't play the Kane BG, so I'm going to move up here like, hey, look, here I come. And then I'll back off. I can't deploy a let's see. I can't deploy. You know, I have a Charger Knight available to me, a Sarge. Don't really need the Sarge yet. He could be in that font next turn if I wanted to. Probably won't do that.
Okay.
Not a very good champion to do that again. He can lava me, which means I'll have to walk out of it. And I won't be able to tunnel, you know, because he would drop that lava on my face.
So there's the excavator. Highly annoying. Yep, and looks like he's definitely going to be running spiders. UD Spider Battle Group. These things are pretty tough, man. He can get some multi-attack going on, and he's going to go ahead and try to call you bluff there with the lava fall,
which I am completely okay with. So definitely, I'm thinking I need magic damage because I got a phase spider coming to me. And right now, I'm trying to recover the Nora, excuse me, from my miner. I'm not gonna be going crazy. What's that Weaver? He got full arthropod, so he can like come and get me. You know, he can pull something with my miner. I'll probably go up a little bit and jump over the river. That way I can escape back over the river or get into his font when I have max AP. So I'm gonna go ahead and give him something to FR.
All right.
Why do I want him FR'd? Well, I don't want my king FR'd.
Okay, gotcha.
King's gonna probably be next because I can get a heal out of it.
Okay, for your Magister. Right, gotcha.
Right.
Okay.
So a lot of things that I see people doing is they're not ever using their miners. Go ahead and get that miner up there. Get it in range to, you know, corral something and give you some AP or, you know, different stuff like that.
Sure.
Go ahead and scry. I'm not worried about my shrine. So we got the lava fall on. Jeez. Turn cooldown.
Yep.
Oh, lava storm. 5 turn. Okay, I thought that was great.
Okay, lava storm. All right, my fault. Yeah. I called it lava fall a while ago. Yeah, lava storm, but that's on cooldown now for at least 5 turns. So you did manage to get that up. He's going to turtle back a little bit. He's going to try to shelter that font from that.
That's fine. I'm winning turtles. I'm already 9 per up with my miner. So you're not gonna beat me with a turtle match. It's not gonna happen. So you can see I've got my sergeant. I got my tunnel earth. I'm gonna go ahead and move over here like this. So you can kind of see him nudging over there, those 2 champs.
Right.
I don't feel like those guys are coming at me. So I'm gonna go ahead and get a Sarge out. He's got 3 melee champions. So Sarge won't hurt. And I'll just continue to chill.
So what do you plan on carousing with your deep miner there?
I'm actually glad that hit him. Just whatever needs it, you know.
Okay.
I'll probably actually run this one across the way there and get prepared for a DMC.
Ah, okay, gotcha. So out comes the Soul Crawler. Now that thing's going to psychic tap, and it hit Ewan. You said you were actually glad that he was the one that was picked up by that. So it's going to make him vulnerable to psychic damage. Now he's starting to get a little froggy on you. He's got that creep and crawl going on, multi-attacking, and phase spider for extra mobility. He's going to go ahead and deploy his Mark of Shoal to enforce them a little bit extra hit points and damage, but also in case that excavator does manage to end up over there in that font zone, he's going to have a contest instead of you just taking it from him.
So where I'm at right now is the same place, AP-wise, from where I'm going. No different. So I can get, for 4 AP, I can get to the same position across the river as I was just at. So it's a very good spot for him.
Okay.
Let's check where I'm at. It's not 13. It's more than 13. 1, 2, 13, 14, 15, 17. So it's 17 AP away from its font. So definitely not going to be 1 turn and into the font. I'll go ahead and do a Mortar crew, let's see. Probably a little bit early for that, to be honest with you. What I would like to do is get my king out. So if I do this, I'll have enough.
Okay.
Next turn.
So miner number 2, there they are. As you talked about them earlier, you've got them both in play now.
Let's go ahead and do that, and then he can go ahead and do that.
Now, Basket, if by the odd chance that it might happen, does command block stack? Could you actually have 2 command blocks on a champ?
No, it doesn't, because I have block 1 on them. I did not upgrade block 2.
Okay, well I meant like if you use the ability twice, say like on, you know, the Dwarven Magister, will he actually block 2 attacks?
Oh, yeah, no. It goes away after 4 turns or something like that.
Okay.
Let's see. The cooldown is 4 rounds, and after 4 rounds, I believe it falls off. I usually keep it up. Boy, he really wants that excavator, doesn't he?
He's hunting him down.
Okay, so now I'm going to do a miner. Excuse me, a Dwarven King. Looks like he's probably going to go ahead and...
He's got a nasty looking spider collection over there, I'll tell you that. That stuff is scary with, I mean, the lowest thing he's got is 13 damage, and that's, you know, with that psychic damage, but still, man, that's a pile of stuff.
Yeah, and my Magister was the reason that I went ahead and did King now. You know, I probably should. Let's get some guys backed up here. He could actually go down pretty, because he can do the little spell, psychic damage spell that hits everyone.
Mind Saucer Boomerang or
yeah,
something like that.
So I got Maka already, so I'm not worried about engage on my ranged. I was really worried about him getting killed. I'd really like to start using some spells. But the next thing I'm going to do is deploy a DMC. And then I'm going to want to put my deep miner down there in front of that DMC for pings, like another soul crawler or something like that.
Okay.
And then after my DMC, then I'm looking for some more support, probably. Depending on what he does, I might not deploy DMC.
So
I can deploy a
all right. So
he's gonna
I guess he's sensing.
Cocoon.
Well, you do have magic damage out. I don't know.
Well, he's gonna cocoon.
Oh, okay.
It's 2 AP, so
yeah, he'll be right in your font zone. Yeah.
I could blink it.
So there we go. Nudges right up to the edge of that font zone. And now we're going to see a cocoon, which is going to protect him up at least for 2 turns. I mean, after that, man, you're going to have phase spider lunch.
Well, he would leave. You know, it goes away on his turn. So, and I'm okay without a font. So
sure.
We're just going to continue with the plan.
So that puts immediate pressure on his shrine now. So now what you've made him do basically is pick between what? Font and shrine, basically?
Correct.
And going to pull off some of that attention from that excavator up there, so all of a sudden that little guy can sneak up and be very aggravating. Now that puts your excavator within range of contesting that font, if we remember right.
Not without AP gen, because well, no, I'll have 8. Yeah, let's see, 8. Let's see, that will be.
You're about 11 out.
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah. And I would like to not be that close, but I can't really do anything about that. Probably go in to kill him. That's okay with me.
Of course, if he pulls off that spider support at this stage, I mean, and he cuddles back around that font, man, that's...
Oh, I would love to do battle for the rest of the game in my font and never have it. That would be awesome, because his shrine's going to be transfiguring in about 6 turns or dying.
Wow. Cool stuff.
You know, because I'm getting 18 from my miners. So he's getting plus 12, and I'm getting plus now 18. So I'm netting 6, and I haven't put out a Nora mine yet. I'd like to put that in his font.
Okay.
But he's got lots of range champions and a relocate champion, so I would expect him to just kind of go and own the excavator up a little bit. I can retreat over. Well, here it comes.
Yep. I was thinking he is going to leave that font wide open. Wow.
Yeah, so I'm in the font now. Now he's got to do something about that. Here comes this little guy. Not too worried about him.
Nightfall Spider. Man, that is one of the most aggravatingest runes on the planet right now, or at least in my opinion. Gosh. He is elusive, cannot be hit from range. Wind Striker, multi-attacking with a creep and crawl. I mean, man, climbing, stealthing, shadow shifting. God, that rune is just, he's all over the place.
So here's what's going to happen. Well, I don't know what he's doing now. Okay. I was about to say, that guy's going to get stunned, and he's just going to chill there, and I'm going to kill both of them next turn. So, actually I probably will stun, because he's down to only a single attack next turn. Let's see how we want to do this. The first thing, the most important thing, getting in that font. So let's do that right now.
Okay. Wow, he's left that font wide open. So there's the Nora mine. No, that's the miner's mine. Okay, and a Nora mine. Okay, there we go. I'm surprised you'd play both of those with him having the potential to play. What's that spell? It removes corrode or what? No, the spell that removes.
Oh yeah.
So here we go. Phase Spider sandwiches. Anybody?
That's all I really need to do.
Wow, I mean, in one fell swift, man, it's like the whole game just takes a tide turn. I mean, just immediately.
That's what I was looking to do. So, I want to put my Leos Monk with that DMC.
For Invig and party favors for everybody.
Right. So he can get one attack off the other guy. That's why I stunned, because that guy is now 7 APs, not 8. So even if he did lava some other way, he couldn't get 2 attacks off. I'm not sure which one, but I think that's the first one. So it's possible Lava Storm's still on 1 turn cooldown.
Yeah, I've kind of lost track. So there's the...
And yeah, there's that. I knew that was going to happen. I got Consecration ready to go, so that'll clear that up for me. And I could Maca if I wanted to. Might do that.
Okay,
so he's gonna kill him right here with the other one. Which is fine. He did his job. Oh, he's not dead. 1 life.
Ooh, yep, left him short.
So we'll I could drop a Priest of Valdak, keep him alive for a little bit, but not the best time to do that. That was a bad move. So he put the Arachne Blade on there. Yeah, there he goes with the Arachne Blade. I'm okay with that.
Dwarven Magister, okay.
Yeah.
So he pulls back his centipede, kind of get him out of the direct line of that Dwarven King, which I can't say I blame him for that. And there's already some shrine love right there, man. So Consecration eats up the lava. Man, 7 defense, Dwarf King, anybody. Soulcrawler's going to equip Earth God's Sigil. You didn't laugh. Darn it. So I guess you've set another artillery strike on the shrine then.
I sure did, my friend. I sure did.
So Dwarf King, gonna send some love out here. And I imagine that you'll just go ahead and gang everybody up around this guy here. Then 3 spaces, war cry incoming. Okay, so that thing's got calcify and resist physical 3. Wow. Fairly stout piece. But unfortunately, not going to be quite stout enough.
No, sir. No, sir, it's not.
Free spider eggs, though. No more spider eggs.
Barely got that one off. So I expect the spider to be hitting my DMC. You can see we're all on the consecration. So
right. So another
blocking. I have blocking.
So he's going to go for the Magister.
Yeah.
Even though he's got the Arachne Blade on there.
Huh. No, that's not too bad of a move. I'm killing that guy if he doesn't sack him, so he knows that. And, you know, I'm going to drop a POV, you know.
I was curious as maybe why he didn't go for Ewan on that one.
I don't know. Ewan is at 6 defense. That's a little much.
So there's the...
Still scrying, too.
Sacrificing? Yeah, with 45 hit points and a siege instrument down there threatening his shrine. I don't know.
So full arthropod is down.
Well, the Thorn's definitely a good player, so he knows what he's doing. So we'll see how this pans out for him. Oh!
Pretty good.
Ouch!
Good. Oh, really good, actually. Then D King's dead too.
And Sergeant. Wow, he just cleaned house.
Yeah, he did. He did real good. It's alright, though. I'm in that font.
Wow.
Let's see what we got here. Let's see what we can do.
Alright, so some more shrine love, man. Got it within just 32. One more space. So the Carouse maybe incoming off of the Deep Miner for what, 1 AP, and then an Invig. Every point counts, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I don't need it all. But
so will the Dwarven Mortar Crew be able to finish this one up? It's going to be close. I think you got it, though. It's going to be, well, I don't know. Because you're going to have, oh, baby. Incoming Macadamize. Incoming Rugloss Might. Or the Might of Iron Fist. And good game, my friend!
Yeah, that was a good, really good round on his part, though. So
wow. Excellent power turn on the shrine, but we got to see Junithorn extend some UD's might with cleaning out. Man, he cleaned you out, brother. I mean,
he did really good job. The thing that I would have done on that side, you saw what I said in the beginning was I'm looking to take the fight to the large bridge. That's what I did. The idea was to make that happen and then get the DMC out. So I was deploying a lot of stuff split. You know, he was coming at me full one side pretty much. So DMC is a little bit deceptive in what it can do. So you put out a DMC and a monk. I mean, it's just it's crazy, and that's a really good map for DMC. I mean, he's bombing Shrine on turn 2. So I mean, I don't know. I didn't really deserve that win if my normal play on the top side was so aggressive, and I got my face owned pretty bad up there. Didn't expect that to happen. But yeah. I was split forces, you know. So the idea of what I was trying to accomplish was accomplished, which was Excavator in the font, fight up top, and DMC on the shrine.
And I would dare say DMC pretty much won that one for you. If you hadn't had that rune in that battle group, man, this one would have probably gone the other way for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, normally what I would see in that situation from players is they're like, oh crap, look, I got owned up there. Let me get a DMC on this shrine now. Right. No, it's too late now. You know, it's just what he should have done was he should have fortified, right, so he could got an extra turn. But what I was going to do if he fortified was get in place and then impervious. You know? Man,
fantastic though. I mean,
yeah,
incredible.
I had enough Nora. I could have either, if I didn't need the Invig, then I was going to drop my Minister and do a Invig on the Minister
for the battle drum.
Yeah, what I was actually thinking of was my Sergeant wouldn't be dead, so I would do a carouse and I would put the Minister down by the Sergeant and have the Sergeant drive and carouse him, and then I would do a battle drum, and then I would clean up with the battle drum. But I didn't even get to do all that. I didn't need to do all that. I mean, I had the Nora to deploy the Minister, but I was already, 15, 20 damage overkill.
Still, man. Fantastic power turn. Yeah, brother, man, thanks for showing us the battle group, Basket. That was a lot of fun, bro.
Sure thing, man. Thanks for having me.
All right, guys. We'll catch you guys next video.